Good evening, members. Sorry there's been a lack of communication, but I have been really busy at the moment, so something's got to give. But look, as you can see, the one thing, if I don't communicate with you, it's not the end of the world. But if I'm not doing the proper form study the way I see it, then I'm doing a disservice to my members. So that's the one part I never cut back. So I I can never give you tips knowing I haven't been really diligent. So I have been busy, but that part doesn't get cut. And I could be working on Instagram, trying to get more customers in. That could be another thing I could have been working on. But the way I see it again is the members I've got here, I've got to look after. Forget about whoever's out there. So again, you guys, the form study comes first. You guys come first, and then after that, everything's secondary. And hence, we wanted to make a change from last year. And our change was that although we made profit, although we made 11% return on investment, which would be good for any business really, we really felt the inconsistency and maybe the long runs without winning. You could maybe win once a month, and when you won, it was quite high, covered maybe the rest of the month, fine. But where do you get that confidence? In me, if we can't consistently tip those winners. So we've changed to a unit play, and here we are. It's made all the difference. That's the big thing. Here's the difference: is 11% return on investment. And okay, we're only going on 1 month, so it could have been a great month or whatever. But it's quite distinctive that we've made this change, and here it is. 11% return on investment compared to January, 42%. And you can see, guess what hasn't changed? Our selections. We haven't changed our selections. We've changed the way we're backing them with the unit play. And here we go, strike rate 20.2. And we can't, and now it's gone up nearly 1.7%. Our strike rate is 22%. So out of every 5 bets, 1 in 5, we get 1 in 5 getting up. Maybe that strike rate might increase. I'm not sure, but we are putting some long shots in there. We're starting to actually put some more long shots in there, and we could just put 1 unit play. So I actually expect that strike rate to come down. I'd be happy with 15% because we will put 1 unit, because sometimes we put 10 units compared to 1 unit. If we really think this thing's over, just put 1 unit. It is not going to hurt the bank. So as you can see, our return investment's really high. I'm actually shocked by that strike rate actually, because I have put some things in. I think these are really unlikely, but I'm going to put a 1 unit play. Talk to be sure's an example, right? We had 2 yesterday that didn't do too well. I think they're both unplaced, right? So I don't care about the strike rate anymore. I care about the strike rate on the really good horses. So here we made 55 units, and we'll come to that about the strike rate on the good horses. Here we got 55 units, and we won 95 in January. But don't get confused here. This is an even stake. So if you want to convert it to the way we're playing now, that's actually 550 units. But still, if you think that's in 1 month, if we're going to repeat that every month, in 6 months, we would win 600 units. So we're going twice as good as last year. Again, only going off 1 month. Long way to go. So, yeah, here's our selections here. Like we said, look, so we've got the 1 unit play. We threw them in. I thought they were very unlikely. I didn't really think they were likely. I was confident they could win, right? But I didn't want them to drag our profit down, so I kept them as a 1 unit. Don't worry, man. If I think we've got $11, $12 chance, and I think it's a bloody $3, $4 chance, I'll have it as a 5, 6 unit play. I'm not worried about the price. But although, as you know, I've got respect for the market. Talking about respect for the market, the instructor, it nearly won as well, and twice in a row, where the market rejected our horse, it either won or now came really close to winning. So I don't know if it's going, and like I said, I respect the market, because most of the time the market knows something we don't know. But I think I think the market this time, like I know Rose Hill, rail out 3 meters, firm track. I really thought it was going to be leaderish. And I think they were overplaying the map. There was a lot of pressure in this race. And they really backed Disney. But I know in a fast run race now, I didn't think that yes, you got to come off the pace, as the winner did come off the pace. Willowdale, it was a great road ride back McDonald, but not like Disney way off the pace. Uh, Even though you're back marking a fast run pace, it doesn't suit you if you can't stay in touch. You still got to be in touch to win. So I think the market overplayed that. Sometimes it could be inside stable information, the horse is not right, stuff like that. And going back to Space Rider, I think maybe they thought like that was blowing out really late. He probably didn't look fit, and they thought he wasn't fit. But again, there was no other ratings in the race. He was the highest rater, and as you know, the best horse still can win when he's not 100% fit. So maybe that's why he won. Um, but yeah, our two market plays, we've missed a winner last week, and it nearly happened again. But in the end of the day, we gained back 4 units, 15 units of Space Rider, now 11 units. So it could get very back to even, in the next few weeks with the market drifting out. The way it's going, they're going to win. So, and again, that's what I want to talk about. That's right, our strike rate with the 10-unit plays. Here we had 3 10-unit plays, 2 of them won. Great strike rate. Shame it wasn't a dynamite tip and we didn't get into the members' accounts. And again, we'll talk about that as well, about maybe it's the horse, not just the field. We didn't I did a big write-up for Gallon Sun here, as you could see. So I had a huge push for that. I really was going to make it tight on my tip. I've had all the ticks. Just I thought barrier 1 with Emily Posman, and it did miss the start. I thought, here we go. But geez, the barrier 1 actually saved it, didn't she? She dug it up. And she said she went against the trainer's instructions but she dug it up, and then she was happy to lead. She is a good jockey. We mentioned here that we've got a lot of faith in her. We wouldn't tip a 10-unit at all if we didn't rate the jockey. But we just thought barrier 1 was going to be tricky, as we did for Thompson. But a senior jockey, we thought he would have done more to get Mickey's medal out. So yeah, that was our tips. And here, again, fully qualified, but cut due to short, 3 out of 5. And we can't have too many short 10-unit plays, just over-capitalizes. But we can see we're doing still really well with that. As opposed to, look at this, just because they're favourites doesn't mean they're going to win. Why haven't we tipped them? Look at these. These all started favourite. Our Chief 350 attracted us $4. Cross Tasman $1.40. Brindavan $1.40 got beat. Sunrays wasn't quite favourite. We had Earn to Burn in the race, but they actually backed it. They backed Sunrays into 350. We thought first up over 1,000. Again, that's what I was talking about Disney. Just because there's a lot of pace, and again, they saw the map, there was going to be a lot of pace, and we're confident Earn to Burn wasn't going to be right up on the pace, just sitting off the pace and close enough to come off, and we read that right. But Sunrays, first up at 1,000, was way out the back and out of touch. And they backed it thinking, there's going to be a lot of pace. It's going to be Storming down the outside because it wants more ground. It's the best horse in the race and all that. You got to be in touch with fast pace. Yes, got to come off the pace. I've learnt this. I've lost a lot of money back in back markers in what I thought was going to be a fast run race, but they're just too far back. You still got to be in touch. So, here we got 5 heavily favourites. They all got beat. And here we've got 5 heavily favourites with win ahead, tick 3 out of the 5. So, this is hard to do. This could have been all got beat, the 5. It's funny, it's 5 and 5, isn't it? We didn't do that by design, just happened to be. And 1 ran second, Moslin Star. And again, there was a couple of things, reason why I think this could be. Sovereign Hill I had in. with Yukashobi, and but I just didn't want to overcapitalize. So I dropped Yashobi down to a smaller unit play, and he was terribly unlucky, held up. Um, and we could have kept Sovereign Hill in and made profit either one win, but again, didn't want to overcapitalize. So the lessons here: golden rules coming back in distance within 21 days is a big no-no. It can leave them flat-footed. And you saw with our chief and Cross Tasman, I put in Cross Tasman can blunt their sprint late. That's wrong. It can blunt them sprint early in the race, at the top of the straight. When the race is on, they're sprinted. They get left behind, and then they got to make ground. So coming back in distance, I've learnt this from some of the pros. People that I think outside the square. I don't listen to all the pros. I just listen to pros that talk, that think outside the square. That they saying stuff that could be unorthodox that I haven't heard before, and then I think about it and look into it. But what I haven't heard is what Cross Tasman come under, and you can see at the time of tipping it was $1.70. He was $1.40. They backed him. Market respected him, whatever. I haven't heard pros talk like this. Now, for me, if you stay at the same distance and come from a heavily rain-affected track to a firm track, to me, that's equivalent of dropping back in distance. And I've seen it happen again. It's something I've discovered. Like I said, I haven't heard pros talk about this. Maybe some, but again, and it makes sense. Cross Tasman, $1.70 into $1.40. No one's got that rule. The algorithms, they don't have this rule. And he got beat. And I think this is a very good horse. And I thought he had nothing to beat there. Like Pippi Beach didn't beat him last start, loves a wet track. Well, Pippi Beach came from the same race, right? And was on the wet track and then stayed at the same distance. So you could say, why didn't the rule there? It was written differently. It was written on the pace. So he probably hit a flat spot and then went again. Cross Tasman came off the pace and he was flying home. Cross Tasman was flying home. You could say, well, you really like got beat. Another bounty would have won. That's right. These rules, there's rules within rules. If Cross Tasman was going 1800, I would have had him as fully qualified and cut due to a lack of value because he was going up in distance. And if you see the way he ran that race, extra meters, he would have won. If he was going up in distance, so there's rules within rules. This doesn't mean you go from a wet track to a good track, it's totally out. It doesn't mean you're coming back in distance, totally out. If you're more than 4 weeks, 28 days, or 5 weeks between runs, coming back in distance, maybe I like that. This game has taken me, lost a lot of money learning the hard way. Another one like we talked about is like Ninja, being too good of a thing, being favourite in a race is one thing. And I'm talking not a normal race. I'm talking $2 million race when the jockeys really want to win. And they know if they get you beat, they may win. That was Ninja a few weeks ago. I lost a lot of money, guys, backing the best horse in the race. I know it's the best horse in the race. I know there's nothing can come near it. And then they get beat. Because there are some of these golden rules. And the beauty about betting big money and not liking, I hate losing. So when I lose, I sulk. I just don't sulk. I'm like, what the fuck happened here? I bet just back the best horse in the race. I've lost. How can that be? Right? So, yeah. So hopefully, like these lessons now, I'm passing, my knowledge on to you, saving you guys money, and getting caught in the traps, especially the favourite traps. Look at that. 5 out of 5 got beat. And our favourites 3 out of 5 won. That's the difference. I know it's only on one day, but that's showing something. Now these horses, that's the beauty about these rules. They can win. They can win because they were still just had that much on the opposition. They broke the golden rule, or they're starting to be a freak like a Winx or something, right? If a horse breaks a golden rule, then I bow. I say, geez, this horse, he's doing unorthodox. He's doing stuff that normal horses can't do. Because this rule normally gets 9 out of 10 horses beat. accept that 1 out of 10. Then I start saying, hey, we're dealing with a different type of animal here, a champion sort of style of animal. But I will tell you, find me Winks where Winks came back in distance. While I never did it to the horse, it could have lost its winning strike rate. Coming back in distance within 21 days, while it didn't do that, Winks, he wouldn't do it to Winks. Get the horse beat. All right. You look at Waller's preparations, Via Sustina and that. Those I love backing Waller and I love backing those because the rating patterns are just so clear. Because he does not muck around in chopping and changing distances. He might 6 weeks gives a beautiful trial over 1,000 meters, gives a stayer 2,000 meters, gives a stayer over a trial 1,000 meters. He puts acceleration in the legs. He doesn't take acceleration out. He wants to put acceleration in, not take it out. And actually, I've got to admit, watching Waller and his preparations, I learnt a lot. Well, what's he doing? Like, I wouldn't back horses 5 weeks between runs. I was like, oh, it's unfit. Oh, bloody Waller was getting them win. What's he doing here? 5 weeks, 1,000 meter trial. And now I look at these cheeky trials in between runs, 800 meters, right? If it's 1,200 meter race and the trainer's giving a 1,200 meter trial, that's a no-no. See, at the same distance. Nah, keep them sharp. 1,200 meters should be 800 meter trial. There's all these tricks. What did they say? In the old days, they said acceleration is the mark of a good horse. So acceleration is really important in a race. Gets you out of trouble. So now I'm learning these rules, how a trainer can prep a horse, can add acceleration into a horse, or take it away. So yeah, a lot of these horses here, our chief, Cross Tasman, them two came in of taking acceleration out. Attractiveness was a preparation on a 3-year-old filly, was asking the horse to do too much. Brindavan is just like sort of like attractiveness first prep for an international. They can just look like a champion one day and off different training conditions and all that. They can just come off. Sunrays was was a very popular horse, and they actually backed this horse in the 350. And again, like I said with the map, with Disneck and that, they just thought because there's a fast pace, a horse from behind. But I knew Sunray was going to get too far out of its ground. So, and they backed it, and it got beat. Cross Tasman, they backed it, got beat. Brindavan, they backed it, got beat. Attractiveness blew out. Our chief held its price. So, hey guys, well, I better go. I've blabbed on enough. I hope you've done well out of our selections, and let's see how we go February. The good horses can coming back. Sometimes that makes things easier. Sometimes that makes things harder. So January signed off. February is just a whole nother challenge. So hopefully we can keep this up for you. Thanks. Take care, and I'll see you guys soon.